Hello and welcome to the next video of my LPL 2026 previews. We're covering NIP Ninjas in Pyjamas. So, this team the last 3 years, 8th, 5th, 8th, going into this season, clean slate, wiped out the entire team. Doonby is out. Shanji, solo kill, leave. Niket, all gone. Nayu as well. They've brought in Hoya from Thunder Talk, Guan from DFM. Courage played for SoftBank Hawks. Guan played for DFM. Care from FPX. Assume from FPX, I believe. And Joao from LNG. This team on paper is 12th out of 14. That's about how I feel. Like, they very well could finish 14th, but that's how I feel about the teams below them anyways. 12th in the solo lanes combined. 12th in the mid-jungle duo. And on the bot lane duo are 9th. I think Joao is the best player statistically from 2025. Mejan is the coach, and we'll talk about him as well. So, Hoya in top lane, 25 years old, oldest player on the team. The average age of this roster is 22.8. In my opinion, Hoya is not that good. The fact that he's still being used as an import is troubling. I feel like you could find a younger and just as good import if you wanted to, or a domestic player. Hoya, 2-3 KDA, 58 KP, 7-4 CS per minute. I mean, pretty low farm, low KDA. Thunder Talk sucked. 149 ROI, 1.4 share differential. This team lacks damage. The share differential we're going to find is no good, and that's a problem. 2.26 vision efficiency, behind 330 gold at 15 minutes. This team on average is behind 623, 660, 713, 7. I mean, they're behind like 650 gold at 15 minutes. Like, that's troubling that these players, in the laning phase are going to be that far behind on average. Now, keep in mind, we are combining players from literally 5 different teams, or 4 different teams from last year, if you count Karen Assume being teammates. And then, technically, Guan played in the LCP and lost his job. One new champion every 5 games. Hoya is ranked 12th in his role. Rumble, Sion, and Bessa count for 40% of his champion pool, which is the least tunnel visioned on 3 champions, which is good. He's the least predictable in terms of what he's going to pick out of his pool. However, with Rumble being your most played, you would think his farm would be higher. You would think his damage would be higher, but it's not. They have Ale as well. Ale did not play last season. He's played in the past, I believe, with EDG and IG. Maybe even like Ultra Prime. He's only 21 years old. Jungle, you have Guan, who I think was with T1 Academy and Challengers, but then went to DFM last year and lost his job. And if you lose your job in the LCP, I really find it hard to believe that you get a promotion to the LPL, but that happened. Similar to Hoya, I don't know why we have chosen these 2 players to be our imports when there are better domestic players available, let alone imports. 2-3 KDA, 73 KP, 6-4 CS per minute. Took on more of a facilitator role with a 1.14 ROI. Negative 3.8 share differential. 4.73 vision efficiency. Up 65 gold at 15 minutes. 0.41 champions played. So 2 new champions every 5 games. So wide champion pool in the games he did play. Ranks 12th in the role because he has nerfed stats because they're LCP stats. Xinjiao Pantheon Vi, 46% of his games played. In mid lane is Care, youngest player on the team. He's played for a few years now, but he still is only 21 years old. 3 KDA, 71 KP, 8.2 CS per minute, 152 ROI. So low farm, but then low ROI. You would think with a low farm, like an 8.2, he'd have a slightly higher ROI than average, and it's not the case. It just goes to show how passive he was with damage this past season. 2.3% share differential, indicative of a player that wasn't that aggressive. 365 vision efficiency, so did place his wards well. At least he has that going for himself. Behind 300 gold at 15 minutes. 1 new champion every 6 games. 11th in his role. Talia Arione, 41% of his 41% of his games played. Assume, 22 years old. It's kind of at this point make it or break it for me. I really was high on him when he was with LGD and Rare Atom in the beginning of his career. He's still 22, but he's played a few years, and like Care, Assume just needs to step it up this year. I don't think this team is really designed to help him in that way, but it's kind of, time to show something. 3.4 KDA, 71 KP, 9.1 CS per minute. And similar story, 1.57 ROI and a 3.2 share differential. So 5.5 share differential between the mid and 80 carry from their teams last year, which shows they were not a big damage dealer for their team relative to gold. They were given the resources but didn't come through with the damage. And then you have that washed out by Joao's negative 5.5. So it's a negative 2.4 share differential on this team right now, which means somebody has to take on that damage and that carry-like performance and make up for that 2.4% that they did not make up for it on their team in 2025. Maybe they didn't need to do that. Maybe they were on a team where it was like, hey, they are the secondary carry. Well, on this team, somebody needs to step up and be the primary carry, and it's going to be interesting to see who it is. I really don't think it's topside. It's going to have to be Care or Assume. One of them, by default, ends up getting the numbers. Now, the ROI might not reflect that, and the team might suck, but somebody will get that number. 2.85 vision efficiency. Behind 37 gold, that's whatever. One new champion every 5 games, 10th in his role. Misfortune Callista Kaisa, 46% of his champion usage. Joao, 24 years old, played with LNG and JDG last season, so was with Myjan last year in LNG. 3.2 KDA, 77 KP, so very active with his team, 0.8 ROI. 191 vision efficiency, one new champion every 5 games, 7th in his role. Braum, Rakan, and Rel, 45% of his champion usage. Myjan, as a coach, was the coach of LGD when they last made Worlds from 2020 to 2021. Then was Weibo's coach in 2022, 2023, and 24. This team, he's making his second stint third stint technically as their head coach. In 2025, he was LNG's coach. He's 0-6 in best of ones, 64-66 in best of threes domestically, 10-10 in best of fives, and then at Worlds, so 10-10 in best of fives in playoffs in the LPL. And at Worlds, he's 5-6 in best of ones and 2-0 in best of fives. Those 2-0 best of 5 wins occurred in 2020 when LGD made it, and they went 1-3 in play-ins, and then won 2 best of 5s against Rainbow 7, and I forget who the other team was. So his best of 5 wins internationally are against Latin America, and I can't remember the other team. So take that for what you will. 1-3 in play-ins. That might be the worst performance out of an LPL team in play-ins in history. They usually get out, so for that to happen is actually pretty astounding. Regardless, though, this team, I have 12th. I do not have a lot of hope for this team. Like I said, somebody's going to have to play at a higher level and step it up for their career's sake. And these imports, I don't know why they imported Guan. I do not know. And maybe he'll do well, and then I'll be like, oh, well, that's why. But based on how he played with DFM, he should have been dominant on. Now he's getting a promotion to a harder region. In a worse off situation, in my opinion, with NIP than DFM and LCP. It's just recipe for disaster. But regardless, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.